Hey, what's up guys? Your average wargamer is back with another video of World of Warships. And in this video, I am going to be featuring Tier 10 Steel Battleship. And I would say it's a cruiser, but it kind of feels like Battleship, and that is Stalingrad. The most reliable cruiser for me in World of Warships. Whenever I want to play solo randoms, I think Stalingrad is really best for what it can deliver. And honestly, I kind of get frustrated with a lot of Battleship games, and then I decided to choose Stalingrad, and it always works for me. And the reason why Stalingrad for a steel ship is awesome is because, well, it has tools to counter every single ship class in the game. It has tool to radar destroyers, which is surveillance radar, obviously, and then you do have defensive air fire to take down enemy planes, which is obviously is a problem. I mean, if the carriers really want to strike you, then they have to go through your defensive air fire. But in the case of Stalingrad, it lasts for 60 seconds, even though the continuous damage is only 25% for that duration, just because of this longer duration action time. But still, it is really good because it does have a lot of flags, and its continuous ADPM is also pretty good. And hence the reason why Stalingrad has these two tools to counter destroyers as well as carriers. But on the other hand, if we talk about the guns, honestly, they are nothing short of impressive. These guns are only 305mm guns, but somehow these guns behave kind of like Battleship, and in most circumstances even better than Battleships. As you can see here, I'm shooting the guns on Smolensk, and the dispersion is so good, yet the Smolensk didn't manage to get Citadel, which is kind of absurd. But anyways, these guns are really good. And then you also do have ASW strikes to deal against submarine. So you do have this really nice package where you can just be good for every single ship class in World of Warships. You have literally every single good tool that you can think of, and Stalingrad has that, which gives it a lot of value if you play it in randoms. Talking about the guns, well, the guns is probably the best thing about this ship. I'm not going to talk about the armor, because the armor is definitely a bit questionable in 2024 standards, since it does not have access to any fire duration. And it is definitely vulnerable against a lot of battleships that has a lot of alpha damage with AP. But still, it's very tanky. I mean, if you stay angled and if you keep reversing yourself like this, then you will prove to be quite a painful ship to deal with. And as you can see here, I'm dealing like 15,000 damage with these guns, which typically battleships takes 30 seconds. And talking about the defensive air fire or carriers attack in general, you can see here that I'm dealing pretty nicely against these Chakal planes, which are tier 8, and it's pretty nice. The Stalingrad A is pretty decent enough, and you can see here I able to shoot down all of his planes, and he didn't even manage to get a strike. But I think he's not using the right bombs or armament in this case, because they will take time to come across to this Stalingrad, and it takes time. But anyways, these guns are really nice. These guns are also very, very accurate. It has battle cruiser dispersion and 2.65 sigma, which you usually don't get in battleships at all, right? And hence the reason why with these guns that has pretty much 10,000 alpha damage, as you can see here, and with the reload time around 17-ish, 18 seconds, well, you're throwing BB volley AP shells on these battleships. And I mean, since you also do have reduced arming threshold, you can be very insane against cruisers as well. And these all things, we all know that, right? I think if you know about the Stalingrad, these have pretty much the textbook characteristics. I mean, everyone knows that Stalingrad does have these really nice things, but obviously it does have weaknesses nowadays, and HE spam is prevalently a lot much more out there with the introduction of a lot of destroyers and some cruisers out there, which is understandable. But still, it will deliver very nice. I still feel that if you know what you're doing, and if you are positioning yourself in a very nice way and making really good crossfires like I'm doing to that Musashi, you can be very, very annoying ship to deal with still. You can see here, you do also have improved AP angles. So even though that Musashi is kind of angled right now, I can still deal pretty decent damage. You can see here, I'm still dealing like 8,000 damage, and I'm getting a lot more penetrations and getting less ricochet because of these improved AP angles. And these all factors, you know, help Stalingrad to be absolutely amazing with its gun power. And also with these tons of tools that it has, it is probably one of the best ship, I would say, in randoms. And it will always be my favorite cruiser for exactly that reason. Very tanky. I mean, it does have 50mm armor. It does help a lot. And you can see here now Chkalov coming up with torpedo bombers, and I pop defensive AA. So it's not going to be easy for the Chkalov to do that, right? He's thinking of striking me, but he just pressed the F button since he just doesn't want to, for some reason take those red flags. And for some reason, he actually get away with this, which is kind of absurd. I was expecting that if he pressed the F button, I will just make his plane shot down, but that didn't happen. But the good thing is that since Chkalov did trigger me to just run away from that position, I simply also managed to dodge those Shimakaze torpedoes that you are seeing at the moment, which is nice. I mean, the only issue with the Stalingrad really is that it is definitely having no hydro. I mean, you are only, stuck with the radar. I mean, it would be nice if it does have a hydro instead of radar, the defensive fire. But it's okay. I don't mind that much since you're going to be playing most of the time long ranges. So at this range, I don't think so. The hydro is really much needed because you have radar, right? If the destroyer really pushes you and trying to top you around 9-ish or maybe 11 kilometer, you do have this 12 kilometer radar, which is actually short duration, like 20 seconds, but still it's not that bad. Honestly, I just build it with the captain skills and upgrades. I just use the radar mod, and it helps me to get to that 26 seconds of radar, which is pretty much good, which gives it a lot much more flexibility against every ship class, right? I mean, you do have these guns that can counter cruisers, you do have radar that can counter destroyers, you do have even ASW attacks to deal with submarines. So you do have every single tool to deal with, right? And with these really, really good guns with insane penetration, with reduced arming threshold, I can easily even settle at Smolensk, right? Smolensk is definitely have to fear at least one ship, and that is Stalingrad. Like, Stalingrad is literally really hard counter against Smolensk. Its armor is not gonna help a lot, no matter what. And here you can see here, the Shimakaze just smoked right in front of me, not realizing that I can potentially radar. But unfortunately, I might eat 2 Shimakaze torpedoes, which you can see here, it deals quite a lot of damage. And also there's a Chkalov that also trying to drop torpedoes. So I'm in a bit of a trouble, for sure. And well, these are the things that tend to happen if you push in Stalingrad, because if the situation comes up to be like that, yeah, it's gonna be a bit tough. But lucky enough, I did manage to dodge these Chkalov torps, and I also pulled this Shimakaze and dealing massive damage. You can see here, this radar is a game changer in this scenario. If I would be in a battleship, that Shimakaze would have been easily hold himself in smoke, and I wouldn't able to do anything as a battleship player. And that's the thing that I really don't like in randoms. In randoms, you suffer a lot if you have really bad destroyers and they have good destroyers. But in the case of Stalingrad, even though you might have bad destroyers, okay, but then you do have some sort of counter to deal against these destroyers, right? And you do not have to rely on our team destroyers, right? Which helps a lot. Honestly, this helps in your win rate by a huge margin. You're playing Battleship, but you do also have characteristics that can deal against destroyers, which in this case is radar. So yeah, honestly, feels really nice. If you play Stalingrad, you know what I'm doing. You should be exactly doing that. You should not push right into the start of the match, and you just hold yourself by reverse kiting, and you can just chunk battleships, cruisers pretty hard. That's what I'm doing. I'm not like playing a very pushy and very much like stale sort of game where I'm just going to be holding on a single position and just going to wait forever. I just tend to position in Stalingrad very quickly because I was not bowing in. And this is something that you should be doing in Stalingrad as well if you want to really play well. And since it's a Cyclone, as you can see here, you're still going to have massive advantage in Cyclone maps. Since, well, I mean, you will find out that once my radar is going to be up to, to be used against these ships, you can actually spot these ships at around 12 kilometers. Like, you cannot do that in Battleship. While Stalingrad still have these Battleship levels of guns, even better sometimes, since its accuracy is super good, just like I said, 2.065 Sigma and battlecruiser dispersion. It is crazy. So you just pop the radar and you will just spot every single thing out at 12 kilometers. While they won't be able to spot you if they are outside 8 kilometers, because Cyclone is limited to spotting at 8 kilometers. If you radar, you will see that not only I'm spotting the Smolensk here, I'm also spotting the Republic, Hindenburg, and even a couple of other ships like Chakalo, which is very nice. You can see here I'm just spotting a whole lot of ships out there, and they can't see me. I mean, they can see me in minimap, but they can't really reliably able to shoot me. And you can see here with this radar, I'm also shooting this Hindenburg, which unfortunately get overpenned by these guns, which sometimes happen. Obviously, Hindenburg because of these really flatty shell arcs, the Hindenburg armor at close ranges kind of works like that you will get overpens, but that sometimes tend to happen. But you can see here, a Republic with having overmatch capabilities cannot pen my deck and cannot overmatch me if he's simply shooting me at upper bolt, and this is another massive advantage for Stalingrad. Like, you can just tank yourself like this, and you can see here I'm just angling myself enough, and he's shooting on my upper belt, which is 50 millimeter, so he just cannot do anything. Except if he gets to my broadside, where the Citadel is really devastating for me, he won't be able to do much. And since the best thing is that I do also have a Kuznetsov in Stalingrad, and I got the Kuznetsov, and I started to not only damage control those fires that I was having, 2 fires, but also I got my heal up ready, and I just really managed to survive that engagement. I mean, it was a bit of a rough situation, but well, you can see here where Kuznetsov really shines. Like, if you have Kuznetsov on top of Stalingrad, it is really game changer, honestly. And you can see here even Musashi is not even managing to get a good damage, reliable damage, since I'm just good and angled enough. You can see here I just literally bounced every single shell of Musashi because he didn't aim well enough. And this is something that Stalingrad is really good at. You will just keep yourself like this in this situation, and you can just do absolutely great. Okay? Rune got the Musashi, whereas my teammates, the Izumo and Iowa, did help me a lot out there because, well, as you can see, Citadeling the Republic at this close range is not an issue for Stalin, since your guns are really good. And you can see here, in this short engagement, you won't be able to realize it, but I did 195k damage. And that's insane. Like, Stalingrad guns are still really nice. It's really strong. Kuznetsov makes it even more good. It's just the issue is that when you should take damage and when you should not. This one thing will literally make your Stalingrad games, either a win or either a loss. Because if you understand this, when to push and when to not, then you will just make your life in Stalingrad a hell of a lot better, and you will have more winning games and more damage out of it. So, well, that's it for the game, I guess. You can see here, almost 200k damage. Deal pretty nicely against aircraft carriers, to be honest. Then I have dealt some good damage to Smolensk. I got a kill on Republic, which is nice. Some defended ribbons, some secondaries hits, which is funny, but it does have secondaries that has fast reload time, but please don't spec it for secondaries. And you can see here in this pretty much short duration of engagement around Cyclone, I still managed to do it like 2.4k base XP, almost 2.3.5k base XP, which is very nice. My recommendation is that if you are playing solo, random especially, Stalingrad is probably the best cruiser. You can tank every battleship caliber gun if you just, protect your citadel properly. Because if they don't shoot on your bow, which is vulnerable, you will be fine. So the guns are amazing, and every single thing can be countered by Stalingrad, which is really nice. Any smoke cruiser can be countered by Stalingrad because of the radar. It helps a lot. As you can see in the detail report wise, deal almost 100k damage to that Musashi, Republic, even Hindenburg and Smolensk, and even that Shimakaze. And yeah, I just did like 3 salvos on that Shimakaze. It has taken good damage during that radar, and even shot down some planes, which is nice. So guys, if you're having a Stalingrad, play it more in randoms. It will help a lot. And do let me know. In the comment section below. What do you think about the Stalingrad? Is it still really worthy that you should play in randoms, or do you play it with division mates? Anything you want to share, please let me know, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Peace out.